I know what's going to happen. They're going to figure out the technology to bring people back, and you're going to be the test subject. And you're like, the credits roll, and then there's the after credits scene, like it's Marvel.
My fucking mind. If I'm about to die, I'm like, oh my God, it's finally coming to an end. This long, torturous experience is about to come to its close. I don't have to deal with this shit anymore, and I fucking drift off into peace. And then you bring me back, I will be the angriest I've ever been in my whole fucking life.
Did you learn? Did they try to push the metric system on you in school when you're coming up?
Fucking Russians.
I resisted. No, I don't know. I don't remember.
I think we should do the same thing with boats
We should bring back floppy disks.
that we did with the metric system.
What's that?
It's left and right and front and back. We don't need aft and forward and the bow. Like, you know what I mean? Let's just go front and back,
Are we
left
the
and
only
right.
people really?
There's a lot of
sticking to that,
Americans
though?
on cruise ships. We don't need to be pulling a metric system where they got to learn the nautical rules.
Well, if you say to the left and you're facing a different way, then you're like, you go to the left and that's the bow and they meant the stern, and you know.
Oh, that's a good point. Well,
I was a pirate in another life.
wow,
You know?
you just threw out my theory immediately. That's fine.
Yep.
That makes sense.
Yeah, get fucked. I'm kidding.
Yeah. But in a car, it's the same thing, though, right? You wouldn't be like, go to the left, and you're like, okay, well, I'm facing.
Most people are facing the front, unless you're in a love seat in the back, like in the 50s with your dame.
That's your best gal.
Yeah, your
Did you
best
ever-
gal on the way to get to a.
Did you ever have like a car like that that had the seat in the back, looking out the back window? And
I
the,
didn't, but we had station wagons when I was
Yeah.
a kid, you know.
Where I ended up just laying back in the
sleeping
hatch
in one of
a lot
those.
too. You went to what?
I had to sleep in one of those.
For how many days?
I don't know, just off and on. Get kicked out of the house in the middle of the night.
They would, and they kick you out of the house and you'd go live in the garage or in the driveway?
We didn't have a garage, dude. We were living in the fucking projects. I'd fucking get into the
Really?
Get into the back door, crawl into the back, sleep in the car, wait till my father was fucking like passed out drunk, or just go back in the morning, dude. You know what I mean? I was young. I was like 7, 8 years old sleeping in. I remember sleeping in the back of the fucking station wagon.
Wow.
Yeah. Carpeted.
How'd you get into the? Would they? Because that was back
Luxurious.
before. That was safe enough to
nobody
leave the
locked
doors
doors.
unlocked in your car.
Yeah, yeah.
Would you lock them once you got in?
Probably. I don't know. That
don't
part I don't
remember.
remember.
Wow, I can't believe your parents would just like, to an 8-year-old, go, you gotta go?
Yeah, dude. Yeah. That was there's a joke I do on stage
That's
where
insane.
I date this girl who was into discipline, and I was like, I got you. And so I sat disciplining her, you know. But I sat disciplining like my parents disciplined. I like, I'll make you sleep outside. But when I yelled that out, I didn't write that. I just yelled it out, and because it was a legit thing that was said to me when I was a child, you know. And it was just the funniest one I could think of in the moment. But it was true too. That was punishment that would get lorded over my head constantly. You know what I mean?
Did multiple kids ever get thrown out at one time?
I don't think so. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Where would your sister go when she got thrown out?
Who? My younger sister?
Yeah,
I don't think
or-
she ever got thrown out.
Really?
Yeah, I think she probably just got tortured in-house. You know?
So was getting thrown out better than getting tortured? Sounds pretty. But
Couldn't
I mean,
tell you.
you're 7 getting.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you.
You sound like you had my mom's childhood, for Christ's sakes.
Yeah. I don't know. Is your mom pretty cool?
She is pretty cool. She's really cool. But she also, would get like dropped off in New York City or whatever.
Yeah,
And
yeah, there's a little
the
bit of
cops
that.
show up the next, 8 hours later, 10 hours later, to bring her back to my grandmother.
Well, the
don't
upside
do
to
that
too,
again.
The upside of not being accounted for was I knew how to get in and out of Boston really easily.
Right.
By bus and train. And so I would go to Celtics games as a fucking child. You know what I mean?
Cool.
And it's a 45-minute trip by car to get there. And so I'd hop on the bus. I get to I don't know, fucking Roxbury or something, and then I'd hop on the fucking train and I'd go see a Celtics game, buy myself a ticket.
The other kids that you knew must have just been like, this is the coolest kid. They're it. Like,
yeah, I don't know, dude.
like I can imagine my son growing up with you and being like, his parents are way cooler than you. Hey, look at all the stuff they let him do.
Yeah. Yeah, they let me
Did you
do
ever
whatever
have
I
that?
wanted.
Like your friends would be like, your parents must be the coolest.
I mean, my parents liked hanging out at my house because my parents weren't there. You know what I mean? So, I had a fun house. It wasn't good.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Sounds terrible.
It wasn't food. I was 13 and I was recreating like the scene from the Dr. Dre videos with all the 40s in the fucking refrigerator.
Yeah.
I had no food, but I had like, 25 40s just lined up in there. It's really ridiculous.
OE?
What's that?
Was it Old English?
We did a little Old English, St. Ives, whatever was out at the point. Yeah. Anyways.
I think the music video was Old English, right?
Yeah, but then they were doing like Ice Cube and all them selling St. Ives.
Oh, yeah.
Did you ever just on your own be like, you know what, I feel like sleeping in the carpeted car tonight?
Yeah, for sure.
Really?
Run away all the time, dude. Get the fuck out of this place.
Run away to the parking lot, though.
I was fucking 8, Tom.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? I wasn't sleeping inside. That's running away. This fucking guy. Oh, you went away? You go to the fucking 5-star hotel? Shut the fuck up. What's up, dude?
What's up? Bing.
Yeah, I remember as a kid, my brother ran away once, and the police were looking for him, and it was, and then into the darkness, and then they found him. He was across the street in like a playhouse or a storage shed out behind somebody's, like the neighbor across the streets, and they found him because in one of the light you could see his head through the window, And they were like, "Is that him in there?"
Did you ever run away, Tom?
No.
Not that
I can remember. Yeah.
I'd pretend so I'd get attention. I'd like pack, but I'd pack like stuffed animals and stuff and be like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm running away," and then they'd just laugh. And then I never did it.
Yeah.
Like pretend.
Yeah. Pack some clothes.
Get your little hobo stick.
Yeah, I get the little stick with the bandana on the back of it. Like,
I never could tie that bandana.
Yeah.
And then walk outside and realize you don't know anything.
I remember thinking like that. I remember thinking that me and my friends in the neighborhood, we could make it like 3 days out on ourselves. And I remember talking about that, and my parents and some of the other parents were like, "Okay, why don't you guys try that? You really think, They were like, "There's no way you can do it." I'm like, "Of course there is. Look at this. We could stay down here in the pool. We could stay in the pool house. We could set up tents. How hard is that? You know what I mean? We do that anyway in the backyard. We used to tent in the backyard." And they're like, "Yeah, you never made it through one night outside on the tent."
Yeah. You couldn't make it one night on the inside
Yeah.
if we didn't make your PB&Js for you.
That's what I used to tell that used to be a joke of mine about Owen watching Man vs. Wild. And I'd be like,
When I was a kid, the inside of the house wasn't much better than the tent, though.
Yeah, right.
"Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, he lived in a old like a shack.
What do you mean? You lived in shack?"
I mean, you could call it
So
that.
stupid, Tom. I'm so fucking. Why did I get up at 1 a.m, dude? You're coming.
You
1 in the morning.
How did you grow up?
Very poor.
Like, okay.
Yeah.
Like outdoors poor. They had an outhouse and shit.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. It was
Where'd you
it was
grow
like growing
up?
up in the 40s.
You grew up when?
It was like growing up in the 40s
Where was this?
in Ashboro. It was in the 80s. So
What did your dad and mom do for a
Hey,
living?
Seth, can you turn this down just a little? The ears.
What did your parents do for a living?
Blue collar work. They were in manufacturing, furniture back then. My dad was an upholsterer. My mom was a sewer.
So this myth of it's not really a myth, but when people say you could be a regular worker back in the 60s, 70s, even the 80s, and just have like a regular job, and then you could and you're the only one working in your family, and you could have a house and support it and have a middle class life, and you're saying no, sir.
No, that's pretty accurate. There was a big recession in 1980, the year I was born, and my dad at the time was working at a company called Grady White Boats, and they went under. Well, they didn't go under; they just stopped production because people
Going
stopped
under is a
buying their
weird name
boats.
for boats. It's not a good sign.
I knew it was
Yeah.
coming. I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming. He said boats going under, and I was like, here it comes.
Let's go. I missed
Mr.
that.
Predictable.
But so when I was like a month old, we were in Greenville, North Carolina. We moved back to Randolph County, where my dad's family's been for 250 years.
Right.
And he bought a house from my grandparents.
Like one of their old places.
Yeah, it was a house that had been. It was actually the house he grew up. He lived in that house till he was 8.
Okay.
I think it was built by my uncle, my great uncle, originally, and then and so he bought that property when we moved back, and that's where I lived until I was 8, and they built a new house on that same property.
Huh.
It was the new house
Literally
was a smaller house
repeated
too.
his childhood.
Yeah, it's kind of strange. Except mine was less traumatic.
Yeah.
Still traumatic, but less.
So you're saying being poor is traumatic?
Well, not just being poor, but poor and dysfunctional. Yeah,
The symptoms that come with it, I'm sure.
poverty and alcohol, that sort of thing. But we didn't have running water. There's no plumbing in the house, so we had an outhouse on the backside of the property, and then it was a 3-room tiny house.
So how much
Asbestos
do you
siding.
think?
How old were you when you got plumbing?
8.
Do
So-
you remember it?
Yeah,
Yeah, I remember
Oh,
the first
really?
time
Nice.
you got like a microwave. I was like, this is awesome.
yeah. I got a that
Plumbing
year.
must have been extra cool.
My son's gonna, when he gets his own apartment, it's gonna be one of the first things he buys. He's grown up, he's never had a microwave in the house.
Oh yeah.
And he's just like, this is so. He just thinks it's so the stupidest thing that we don't have one.
Why don't you have
Imagine
one?
if you didn't have plumbing, how we'd feel.
Right.
No, really. No.
Probably worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was Christmas of '88 when we moved. We moved into the house right after that Christmas, before New Year's, and so that Christmas we had Christmas in the new house, which my dad did a lot of the construction himself.
Did you sit there when you moved in and just flush the toilet, dude?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just get it, watching what the fuck is going on.
Well, everybody else had plumbing. It wasn't a new thing.
But it was your poop this time. So.
Yeah.
Huh.
But I didn't use the outhouse. I hadn't used it in a few years because I think I stopped using the outhouse when I was like 5.
Wow.
What would you use?
A huge wolf spider crawled out of the toilet inside the outhouse.
That'll do it.
I was like, I'm done with this.
So
What is a
did-
wolf
what did-
spider?
I'll just shit in the woods.
Yeah. So you would just start shitting in the woods then?
I know my parents went and bought one of those camping
Yeah,
toilets
yeah.
for me to use,
Gotcha.
and that's what I used.
And wolf spiders ain't.
Because I
ain't
refused
fun,
to
dude.
sit on that
Yeah, I
that
don't
toilet
blame you,
seat.
dude.
Oh wow, those are nasty looking.
Yeah, it's not fun.
It was traumatic. I'm still traumatized.
Are you still worried about
Let's put it
spiders?
on the
I
big
hate
screen.
spiders.
Yeah.
We've been places together where it is sort of an outhouse situation. How did that go for you?
That's all right.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I can reminisce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to. Do
You don't have the urge to keep a camping toilet in your vehicle at all times just in case?
It's not a goal.
Huh?
He would be the first person to have a camping toilet in an electric truck. Neil, what is that? Well, I bring my toilet with me wherever I go.
I'm just sustainable,
Yeah, that's
I'll just sit in the back of the truck.
Like, that dude is so fucking earthy crunchy.
I can just sit in the back of the truck with a newspaper.
That's how he fuels the car. I know what's going to happen. They're going to figure out the technology to bring people back, and you're going to be the test subject. And you're like, the credits roll, and then there's the after credits scene, like it's
will lose my
Marvel.
fucking mind. if I'm about to die, I'm like, oh my god, it's finally coming to an end. This long, torturous experience is about to come to its close. I don't have to deal with this shit anymore, and I fucking drift off into peace. And then you bring me back, I will be the angriest I've ever been in my whole fucking life.
I want, because most people, but I think people that come back after near-death experiences they enjoy life in a whole new way.
I've had near-death experiences. My whole life has been a near-death. I've been so near-death the entire fucking time, dude. I don't need more of it. You guys can have it. If you want to live forever, dude, I'll give you mine.
That's funny.
I don't want it, dude.
That's what I asked him last time. I was like, do you really think you want to live to be 500?
He does. He's super optimistic.
Yeah, he's
He
like,
loves
there's
it.
plenty of stuff to do. I'm like, I can't.
Well,
Yeah,
I do if we're free and society's better. If it's if it's just it's 500 years in slavery, no, I don't.
I'm good.
I don't want to do that. If
I'm
we're
good.
just enslaved by giant corporations.
You ever
gotta
see a
see what
movie?
Amazon's
You ever
coming
see
out
a
with.
movie one time and you're like, I'm never gonna watch that again, but it was good. That's this. You know what I mean? I'm not buying another ticket.
But you know
I
what?
don't want the DVD,
You
dude.
sure?
Don't download the movie. Don't ask me if I want to watch it again with you. I watched it once. I'm good.
Yeah, but it
Don't
might,
you wonder
might
about
be,
what's
you might
after
be
this,
Big Trouble
though?
in Little China. What if
Commentary.
you're Shawshank Redemption? You know what I mean? Like you can watch it 100 times.
You watch it, dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You watch it. I don't want to watch it. I've seen it already.
Okay.
I'm just like, I don't know, man. I lived 100 sounds long, dude. I'm like, dude, if I can make it to my mid-60s, I feel like really successful. I feel like it was fine. And I'm positive in those last couple of days, I'm going to be like, oh, I didn't have long enough. I'm telling you, today as I stand, I'm fucking good with it being
But what
over.
if, Neil, what if when we die, there's another thing? I'm not saying there's heaven or whatever, but there's your consciousness gets, another couple curtains get opened and you get to have this other amazing experience where you have a different relation with reality or whatever that is. You're cutting that off by extending this life.
Death is part of this experience, right? And we look at it as,
right now.
That's the bad part of it. Right now, it just should be like, if death isn't in the question, then your behavior is going to change. There needs to be a consequence to our actions, right? So death needs to be on the table. And we're so afraid of death, but it's the same as all this other shit. It's just as beautiful. We're so afraid
what if
of
this
it.
whole part is like the part where you're going up the roller coaster, and then you're like, I want to stay on this part forever, and then you miss all the fucking fun because you won't go over the hill to the rest of the ride, you know?
Well, the way I think about that is, I don't disagree with those things necessarily. I just my alternative thought would be, we do know now that this is likely just all information. The whole universe is information. It's not. There's no time and space. We render that through our interface with this reality. Whatever we are, we're just part of this information. It's all one thing. So we separate ourselves from the planet, from the earth, from the universe. Why? It's all one thing. It's just because we can't experience it all, because we don't have the right hardware to perceive everything. We think that we're separate from it. Like we think that humans are separate from nature. But what is nature? Nature is, this whole thing came from this planet. Even this whole room, everything in here was originally in a supernova. You know, it came from a star exploding, and then then we're just part of the universe. We are a conscious part of the universe, and so are all the animals, and anything that experiences anything is a conscious part of the universe. And on this planet, we're a higher level of consciousness. And so I just read an article yesterday, and I've read this a few months back too.
I feel like you just read nonstop. How do you keep all this knowledge in your damn head?
I don't know. I'm curious.
Yeah.
But they recently they were doing studies on the brain and on consciousness and trying to learn more about how the brain functions and what consciousness is, and they through their experiments they determined that consciousness likely operates as a quantum processing with quantum processing. So your brain is more like a quantum computer than a classical computer like they originally thought. So
what's the difference?
Quantum processing is qubits. So like a quantum computer, a classical computer is binary. It's zeros and ones.
Okay.
It's all zeros and ones independently.
Flat.
Yes. So you can have 0 or 1. You can't have both simultaneously. So everything is encoded in zeros and ones. But with quantum technology or quantum processing, you can have zeros and ones and an infinite number of combinations of the two in the middle. So your combination or your computational ability is exponentially greater. It's orders of magnitude more powerful.
Okay.
And so with the human brain, that would explain why we're able to process such incredible amounts of information with such low voltage and in such a small package. And what they've found is that they can see quantum entanglement within the processing of the brain, and that quantum entanglement goes away when consciousness goes away. When the patients in the study go to sleep and their consciousness goes away, that whatever they're measuring to measure quantum entanglement also goes away. So it's a really interesting thought about what is consciousness? Where does it come from? Is it a underlying fundamental property of reality? You know,
What does science say that they think it is?
Nobody knows.
I don't understand any of those words.
It seems like it could be complexity though. Like once nature reaches a certain level of complexity, you just tap into consciousness. It becomes conscious.
Oh, okay.
And so when you talk about dying,
He said, "Oh, okay. You don't know any of these words either, dude.
I'm following.
Words, dude. You're following?
Yeah.
You guys are just smart, man. I just don't.
It's like there's got to be like a line where it's like you have these many connections, and then it's like that's consciousness. Like there's got to be what's the line, and so I guess they're.
it's like with AI. Like we don't know if it's conscious or not.
Yeah.
There's no way to know. Like we don't know what consciousness is.
But isn't the energy that you're talking about earlier, that's running things, that's consciousness, right? That's what.
Well,
sparks
no,
it.
not necessarily. I
It's
mean,
force.
it's information, and we.
But it's obviously conscious because
we
it changes how it
experiences
reacts or expresses itself depending on the
Well,
what the
so I
the
think
observers or the moment or it switches what it has. and
well, you could argue that the universe is
very
conscious because we're conscious.
Yeah, we're perceiving it.
We are the universe perceiving itself.
Mm-hmm.
So the universe is conscious, but we're how much control do we have over matter and particles? I mean, individually, none that we know of. I mean, I'm sure we do, but it's not something we're aware of. But I think as we become more advanced and more conscious, barring some disaster, I think we'll eventually get there, though, regardless. But as we do, I think we'll perceive reality in a very different way, and I think we may even, if information theory is the base of reality, then we should be able to eventually start manipulating reality.
Yeah, maybe that happens when we die.
But I think
when Eric turns it all in, he's going to be up there. We're going to be down here like, I got to live till I'm 300, and Eric's like, you guys are missing it.
Well, the experience after death could be overwhelming too. If our consciousness does continue, and if our consciousness isn't necessarily in this dimension, our consciousness could be originating from. I mean, all this is originating from another dimension of reality. This is an expression of the information that we are.
This consciousness was recorded in front of a live studio.
Right. Now, is conscious? I feel like conscious is spelled two different ways.
What?
Isn't consciousness? Isn't there like conscience and then conscious? Those two
It
different
looks
words?
like conscience.
Okay.
Yeah.
Eric's struggling over there. He's just like, I'm done with this conversation.
No, I'm not done with it. I mean, I think it's great that you guys have it. I have a hard time. No, because you enjoy it. And you guys enjoy it. I think that's great. For me, it's like, I don't know. Yeah, I can't wrap my head around it. I'm missing the text.
I don't think death has to be the end. I don't think it has to be a thing that we experience. There are creatures that don't die.
I just don't have to be in control
Which
of it.
creatures don't die?
There's a species of worm that doesn't die. It doesn't age at all. It stays the same age
It's just been
forever.
the same amount of them the whole time.
And you can cut it into pieces and it'll grow into multiple worms. It's a very strange organism. But
that's the end game. Is how
Wormy.
When does the worm take over?
I need a new me.
That's right.
Well, that's where you can just use your leg that you lost. There's another you now walking. Now, do you think that your leg has a little bit like your old leg that if they kept it around, does the leg have hope? Like one day it's going to regrow me the rest of my knee.
Maybe
right?
this
And
knee
then-
No, that'd just
is
be
the
disgusting.
leg.
Huh?
This is along the same lines of his blood being used at a murder
Well,
scene.
I
or
mean,
whatever fucking dumb
if it's all
thing he
one
thought.
thing, right?
they
I mean,
could- they
and
could-
we're consciousness throughout. Then does the leg have like you know how you have like false
Well, you can do
leg
that
pains
today.
or what do they call that? Like ghost pains?
Oh, phantom.
Phantom pain.
Like phantom pains, like your
Ghost
leg would
blood.
then have like it's same thing, but like it thinks it's still attached to you.
Well, it
know
has
what I mean?
my code. It has my DNA in it.
Right.
You could regrow another me through that leg.
That's what I'm saying.
But not from the leg, just in the tissue, just from the DNA.
If we find
you can
Neil's
clone
old,
me from
if
it,
we
yeah.
find old leg Neil,
Old Neil
you
leg.
can have the rest of my time.
But I think back to the death thing though. I don't think
Fun sentence.
traditionally
I'm more excited about this other thing. I'm more excited about the technology of regrowing a Neil from the leg bit.
Well, that's part of
as
it.
opposed to regrowing your leg on you. I want to know what the other Neil.
I'd like to have multiple Neils. I'd like to have 10 of me.
Really.
Yeah, because it would.
Because I could kick your ass.
If we can 3D print organ,
Add 10 Neils to the list.
that would be a lot.
I picked 10 Neils.
13 Neils. You gonna get
13 Neils is on the list, dude.
I don't want to be in a room with 13 of me.
I would take 13 Neils over the one hunter with the rifle.
Yeah.
I would take 13 Neils over the 15 wolves
Yeah.
Yes.
and over the 50 hawks.
I hope you like making friends with rats, Neil, because I'm picking you and 10,000 rats.
Seth just chose 10,000 rats and 13 Neils, dude. 13 28-year-old Neils. I take them.
Well, if there's 10,000 rats, you're probably just going to have 10,000 rats and a bunch of dead Neils.
Yeah?
So, yeah.
You think the 10,000 rats
you.
is
You'd have
strong?
rat armor.
I think that wins.
Yeah?
I think the 10,000
I
rats
just
probably
can't
takes
get behind
everything.
it, man.
Why would you take the 10,000? So this
So
is
do you understand this question? You know what it is?
Oh, what would I want to be in a room with?
No, so you're in an arena.
Oh, okay.
We've been going with the ancient Roman
Coliseum.
Coliseum.
You remember
So
those.
it's about 200 yards wide, right? So you get to choose two things from this list. They want to protect you.
Oh.
Everything you don't choose is trying to kill you.
Ooh.
And you have to survive 1 hour.
I want the gorillas.
You want the gorillas?
choice.
It's
Yeah.
a good choice. So here, let me walk you through some of the thoughts that people have been having.
Wait, let him get his other one too.
But what happens, though, is one of the gorillas lives and the rest of us die.
Oh, you think the gorilla lives
Well, he
outlives
wants
you?
to
Survivor's
protect you,
guilt.
though.
That's a lot of survivor's
They
guilt.
want-
Oh,
to
they
protect
do
you.
want to protect me?
Yeah, they want to protect you and everything wants to.
Yeah, I'm
kill you.
definitely going for the gorillas.
Yep.
Yeah.
I had gorillas. I had gorillas early as well.
get two.
That 15 wolves might be.
Yeah, dude, it's all great. There's no way anybody survives this. But let me talk you through what I was talking about. My first thought was I take that hunter off the board, first round draft pick, because I don't need him shooting at me.
No, yeah.
I don't need him shooting at me.
I
He's
don't.
gonna kill you. As
He's
soon
not
as
gonna.
on.
He's not gonna take out 15 wolves either.
Doesn't matter. He just got to kill me.
He's gonna. Oh, he's against you. That's right.
Yeah. Right.
So,
I take
so
him
you can
just so he's not against me.
you can have two things.
Yeah. So I take him first, and I hope
Okay.
he does any damage, and
Yeah.
that's just gravy. And
Are
then
they
I
all
was-
working together? Everything else is working together?
Well,
I'm
here's
trying to
the
make
thing.
it.
What's that?
I'm trying to make it.
Yeah, I'm trying to make it too, Seth. I'm not out here to die. I'm just saying I gotta make it for an hour, and 10,000 rats. I don't unless we can mind control them.
Yeah, they're worthless.
They're worthless to me. You know what I mean? And if I can mind control them, then I can just mind control 50 hawks to up and away me out of there, dude. You know what I mean?
That's true.
That's all.
Air superiority.
I just float above everything because nothing can get me. 50 hawks will keep me fine. You know what I mean?
That's
So if we can
true.
assign the rats these human characteristics, then I take my hawks and I just fucking the game is over.
The
So I-
scientist Lesser said that it's just too much mass.
Yeah.
The rats are.
but it's not controlled,
Overwhelming.
man. You know what I mean?
They're controlling themselves. They do have
They
have
a
a-
hive mind.
They have their mind is just set. The only thing they're thinking about is killing you.
They're like us.
They're trying to. They're
You know who
one.
would be able to answer
They're
this question?
single-minded, without direction, to
Mola.
kill you, and they will work together with their mass rat consciousness.
Yeah. I just don't
Coming,
think so.
dude. They're coming.
They're not aggressive meat eaters either. They do that.
Oh, they're pretty aggressive.
Not really, unless
Okay,
they are
someone-
forced to do it. Rats will not.
Someone made a little diagram for
I
us.
love it.
Look
That's
at all
the
that. Look at
10,000
that
rats?
mass. That's
Whoa.
10,000 rats. Look at that.
Put it in a 200-yard arena.
That's huge.
Oh, come on, man! I'm standing back
I
behind
mean,
that
yeah,
thing.
if you stand behind those, you may be all right. I
They're
don't know.
this big and they're this far off the
No,
ground.
rats.
The
They're like
Terra
this.
army, not terracotta, Terra.
Yeah, they're that. How big are they again?
Bro.
Yeah, I'm going with them.
Like New York style rats.
Yeah,
Like-
pizza rat.
Yes.
There's 10,000 rats in New York right
Bunch
now.
of master
in the Momo's
splinters.
apartment.
And they got to get past. The crocodiles look pretty mean, but that's.
Look at those
It's
chickens.
something up. 10,000 chickens versus 20 T-Rexes is a different story.
Yeah, there's no
Yeah.
challenge there.
Yeah.
Different story altogether.
Look at that rat, dude. Look at that. Look at those teeth. I mean, there's only two of them.
Look at that.
Or four.
Look at them chompers. You sound like a coach. Like, look at them.
That's right. Go to the screen. Oh, here we are. Look
I
at
can
that.
go to the fucking shelter right now and get 20 rats, and it's just, I don't know, man. I'm not discounting the rats. I don't want them to come after me, or nothing. But I'm just saying.
Hawks may be picking up snakes and accidentally dropping them in. The hawks, that's how they could defend us. The hawks could go grab snakes, drop them in.
How are
to
you
eat the
organizing
rats.
these 10,000 rats to attack? Do you know what I'm saying?
Their
Yeah.
mind is
Well, if
determined
they're
to
supposed
kill
to
you.
protect you, though,
They're-
then they would somehow
It's in their DNA to go after you now.
or protect
So is
you.
it in every
or
other
protect
animal?
you.
My thing is this, man.
Rats
If
are
I-
pretty smart, though.
If you can control the rats, then I can control these other animals.
No, you have no control over all the animals. They are either
So I have
set
no
to
controls over the rat.
they're set to kill you or
Unless
to
It's not
protect
control.
you.
They're just they're there to protect you. So they're gonna
Instinctually.
swarm. Yeah.
5 gorillas are just gonna come fucking sweeping through.
That's
knocking
true.
The fuck out of these goddamn rats, dude.
Mm.
They're hyper intelligent.
get all of
These
them.
lions hunt in packs.
Maybe you should pick the rats and the gorillas to
You
protect
will
you.
kill a lot of rats.
Because
you know
Not
what
all
loves
of them.
killing rats? Cats, dude. And I got 5 big motherfuckers right here who
You got
love to
4.
hunt together for
So you're
4
going.
lines.
You've only got now. Now you've got 3 things. You have the hunter, you have the cats, and you have gorillas. All
No,
on your team.
I swap between
10,000
gorillas
rats
and gorillas and cats.
It's so
man.
demoralizing. If you heard 10,000 rats outside the door right now, I don't know what I'd do. I'd never leave the studio.
If I had
Terrifying.
10,000 rats out there, do I have a couple buffalo in here with me? I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm just not sold on the 10,000 rats. I'm not.
not
I'm
by
not-
themselves.
Yeah.
Maybe the 10,000 rats and the gorillas.
Yes, that's what I picked.
I wouldn't worry about the hunter though. With that, dude, those
Yeah.
gorillas will take him out quick.
Mm-hmm.
You just need to run back and forth.
The
Yep.
whistle blows, right? The whistle blows, and he just fires that shot. It's well before the rats are going to close in and
Dodge.
get him. You know what I mean? And I would just assume this hunter is the best hunter in the world. He's gonna.
I like the idea of the hawks. If they're on your team, if they're picking up and dropping rats all over the other animals. You know what I'm saying?
So
Like
he's a hunter too. He's never killed a man. He'll look at me in the scope, see my baby blues, and hesitate.
This
Actually,
guy
they've
wants
done
to be
studies
there.
that show
he
that
wants to kill you as much as
hunters
the rats
perform
want to
better
kill.
in combat.
Oh, well, if he's never fought me. So
He's never fought Seth and his 10,000 rats.
Yeah.
I think out of the 10,000 rats and the 5 gorillas, you're the least threat.
oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
why I want them. Because
I feel like even.
But also, they're trying to
if
protect
made
you.
it 10
Yeah.
rats, I think Seth is the least.
yeah.
I looked over yesterday and Seth was wearing a leprechaun hat for no reason.
Who's there?
What if we could get 10,000 Seths and
Yeah.
5 gorillas?
That's
I don't think I
take
could
5
do it. I don't
gorillas.
think I could do it. 10,000 me's and 5 gorillas.
I don't know.
If they like slipped on my guts or something and like woo and like hit their heads, maybe.
All right. Not to derail your fun conversation. Yeah, I just think this is. I think it's an interesting question. It's
is.
unanswerable. You can't.
Yeah, there's
There's
no
no
right answer.
survival here.
Yeah.
There's no right answers.
You know, we could probably simulate this in a few
I would
years.
really love
Yeah,
to.
there's a guy who does it. He does this with the chickens and dinosaurs. He
Oh,
gets
that's cool.
like Halo soldiers versus Revolutionary War
I love
soldiers,
that.
and he
Let's
just
have
lets
him
it do
on.
it.
Let's have that guy on. It's like a high level D&D. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's interesting.
I'm doing a bang bang today. Pretty
Yeah.
excited.
Do you know what a bang bang is?
I don't.
It's a Robert Kelly idea. We looked at it. So Bang Bang, it's on an episode of Louie. Robert Kelly plays his brother. And like, Bang Bang. And so Bang Bang basically is one restaurant, full meal, another restaurant, full meal.
How do you? But aren't you full after a full meal?
I
Yeah,
haven't
dude.
eaten for a while
yeah, dude.
today, so
And I'm doing it for the love of the fucking game. You know what I mean? I'm out here doing the important shit. You know what I mean? I'm going to find out.
Would it count
That's,
if you did like if you ordered a menu item and then they're like they come back after the dessert menu and they're like, oh, do you guys like anything else? And they have the check and we're like, yeah, we'd like to see the menu again. And then you just start over in that restaurant. Can
No,
you?
I don't think so.
Doesn't count as a bang bang.
No, that's just a good restaurant.
it's just a capital B bang, I think.
Yeah,
It sounds like Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Yeah, it's Thanksgiving,
Christmas.
but other people's stuff.
So the break is only going from one restaurant to another.
And the restaurants are right next to each other. I'm very excited.
Restaurant.
I'm very excited. I haven't been this excited in a while. Hanging out with some good friends.
And why do you do it?
Because it's fucking delicious, Neil. Because it's fucking delicious. I'm conscious and I can. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm conscious. I'm in a rush to get this thing over
This
with.
information is delicious.
I'm going to eat some Japanese food, then some Indian food. I'm going to have a real nice night.
That sounds good though.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty fantastic. I'm excited.
I think my problem would be the 2 meals, eating 2 whole meals.
The whole thing?
No, I think the first meal I'd be like, this was good. You know what I'm saying?
Well, if
Well,
it's
maybe
Japanese and Indian though, you could just eat sushi and then go have Indian food.
I'm going to
Well,
have.
you can't
I'm gonna have
appetizer one and then main meal the other one. You got to
You
Sushi's
gotta
a
go
main
main meal
meal.
both. You're gonna do main meal both. Sushi is a main meal. We went to Don. It's very delicious. But every time I eat Don, I'm like, I can fucking have another one of these right now. And sometimes I do. And so now I'm just gonna have a little bit of Don, and then I'm gonna go over and have a little bit of this Indian food, which is delicious.
And also, when I
Thanks,
go to eat Japanese, I have a bang bang there.
Right.
I get a lot of sushi and a lot of food, and I'm like,
Yeah,
I got
yeah,
way
dude.
too much food.
Yes. Yeah.
And I feel terrible when I leave, but I enjoy it while I'm there.
I feel fantastic the whole time. It's a real highlight.
I'm
of
not
my day.
I'm kind of bumming that I'm missing that.
I am too.
I think that's how I'm going to start gaining weight.
Yeah, I'm gonna
That'll
put
do it.
Bulk up,
I'm
bang,
gonna put
bang.
some weight on Seth here
Yeah.
soon.
Yeah, Owen needs to put on about 15, 20 pounds.
Oh,
So
yeah.
bang bangs might be a big deal, but he's constantly eating,
Yeah, that's true.
He can go have dinner with his girlfriend, have a bang, bang, bang. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
This fucking guy.